You're listening to a Frequency Podcast Network production.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Welcome to Friday. My name is Brock.
I'm Dalby.
Yesterday we were talking about names and stuff and what the most Canadian name was. I said I thought it would be Gord.
Yeah, which I agree with that. You know, Gord Downey being the most prevalent example. Also, Gordie Howe.
Shout out to friend of the show, Dylan, who sent us a screenshot for the name Gordon. Or Gord,
Yeah.
which it's Gordon. Every Gord is short form for Gordon.
Gordon, great album by the Bare Naked Ladies.
Fantastic album. He sent us a screenshot of all the notable people that are named Gord or Gordon. All Canadians.
Really?
Yes.
There's not one internationally famous Gord?
You got Gord Downey. You've got Gord Johns, who was a politician out in BC. Gordon Lightfoot, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Gordon Martineau, which I guess was a TV journalist.
Okay.
Gord Miller as well.
Oh.
Gord Sinclair.
Yeah.
And Gord Stellick as well. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
We are the king of the Gords.
And they didn't even have Gordie Howe on there.
That's disrespectful. That's upsetting that Gordie Howe doesn't make that
No, the
list.
weird thing is I looked at all these people, they all are named Gordon. Like, nobody is actually just named Gord on its own.
I think Gord is not necessarily a name. Like, even I am an Andrew that's only been called Drew my whole life. There's a lot of parents that feel like even if you're going to use the short form, you have to legally use the long form. I think it would be odd to see like a birth certificate that just straight up said Gord.
Yeah.
It would feel like it was missing.
Or, like, even Gordie.
Yeah.
Like,
If you legally name your kid Gordie, you are setting a low bar. You're like, this kid's going to be chill.
that's not the worst one. If you named your kid Gordo, you should go straight to jail.
If you name your kid legally Gordo, you're going to sell him to the circus. That's the only option you have
Absolutely.
left.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Paris Games officially kick off today. We've got the opening ceremony at 1:30, 2 o'clock.
Yeah, I think like the pre-show starts at 1:30. All told, it's supposed to run for 4 hours.
It was supposed to be Celine Dion and a couple of others. I saw Gojira, the metal band, is going to be performing there.
Because they're from France. They're going to be doing a collaboration with a French opera singer.
Yeah.
And then also Lady Gaga will be there.
Here's one thing that sucks about the Paris Games. I don't know if you've heard about this. No alcohol is allowed at any of the events. And I'm not talking, obviously, for the athletes, but fans.
Really?
Fans cannot drink at this year's Olympics.
Like, if you go to the football matches, you can't have a beer.
Apparently, there's some weird French law that they've had for a while where they're only allowed to allow alcohol at 10 events a year.
What?
In the entire country. So they decided we don't know which ones to pick.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So they just decided on there's no alcohol going to be served.
Nothing. Now, hang on. Do the French consider wine to be alcohol? Because that's just kind of a thing there, right?
Yeah, everything. Wine, liquor,
even have
beer,
wine.
everything. And apparently it's also there's no advertisements for alcohol or TV in France because of this same law. So,
Interesting.
yeah, and then it falls into sports venues as well.
This is like when Canada had to stop putting cigarette advertising on all the events and stuff like that. And it was just felt weird at first, but I guess probably if you're from France, it's probably normal.
I am curious. The French do like to smoke. I wonder if you...
There's no booze.
They're fine with no drinking, but you take away the darts and they're like, sacre bleu.
That's the riots of 2024 for sure.
It's sad, though, because you can't get drunk and watch some, rhythmic gymnastics or something.
Which just feels like, you know how people get during the Briar here in Canada?
Yeah.
I would love it if there was a Briar patch for Olympic events.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Someone's out on the floor doing the ribbon twirl thing.
Dude, even thinking about it now, how awesome would it be if the rhythmic gymnastics people got drunk before they did it?
Not the fans, but the competitors themselves.
Yeah.
I feel like I feel like the performances would get a lot darker.
It'd be worth watching, honestly.
100%. I still think it's the same. Like, they're twirling and they're spinning, but I think at some point they're going to stop and maybe cry a little bit.
Because it's not just the ribbons. Sometimes they do the hula hoop as well. You ever seen a drunk guy try and use a hula hoop before?
Right? Or sometimes they have that, like, ball that they do tricks with.
Yes.
You know that the drunken gymnast at some point is just going to punt the ball into the crowd.
If the fans can't drink, the athlete should at least be able to.
I'm on board. We've talked before about like the steroid Olympics. We've talked about the average Joe Olympics. I am 100% on board for the drunk Olympics.
762-555. What Olympic sport would be absolutely amazing if they gave them a little bit of boost?
Just a little bit of hooch before they go out and compete in the event.
100-meter dash, gotta chug a beer and take a shot before you take off.
Oh,
Whoever
yes.
doesn't puke is the one that wins. Doesn't matter on your time.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Hammer throw, because like you say you're 5 or 6 beers in, then you got to start spinning around with a great big hammer.
Dude, any of those, like the hammer throw, the discus, any of the spinning events, I don't know about.
Yeah, exactly. Either you're going to end up killing someone, or you're just going to throw up everywhere.
It turns into a dizzy bat game real quick.
It's two measurements. One is how far your hammer goes and how far your vomit also goes for like bonus points.
Dude, even the javelin would be tough to figure out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that would definitely hurt someone.
I think drunk javelin might also end up with some spinning involved. And then all the people in attendance are ducking like, no.
You catch a JUI, javelin under the influence.
People would definitely be running for that.
762-555. We're talking about what sports should they add booze to at the Olympics to make them just a smidge better.
Someone texted in, imagine if you had to do a beer every round for boxing. By like the 5th or 6th round, these guys are just coming out sloppy haymakers at each other.
Yeah, it's basically just bum fights at that point, right? I think beach volleyball is the one that would probably do the best because, I mean, anytime you've ever gone to a resort, what do people do? They just play volleyball.
That's
they have
true.
drinks all day.
Right, everybody channels their inner Top Gun and just gets out there. Woo! I'm playing volleyball!
They just play that Hanging with the Boys song the whole time.
Over and over in a loop.
That's the new Olympic anthem. Yeah.
I mean, I'll say this, because I saw that there was some like pre-event trials happening today. Drunk shooting is a time-honored tradition in certain parts of this province.
True.
So why not make it a proper Olympic event?
I think America and Canada could do pretty nice at that one, actually.
What's that, target shooting? You got to like bang a shot and then go out, boom,
Yeah.
and then it's like first person to miss.
The long jump. It was texted in a few times.
Oh.
I think that would be so funny to watch someone, any of the running events, of course,
Yeah.
right? But just trying to like set themselves up and see how far they go.
Dude, the high jump. Watching the guy drunk run in on that like curved angle and just like smack into the bar.
Well, that's what I'm saying with the long jump too, is because, right, like if you fall forward, then it cancels out, right? You got to try and keep your balance.
Right.
Like, any of the balance ones, the balance beam, man.
No. Well, I mean, at that point, you're just doing roadside DUI testing. You're just asking a gymnast to get up on the balance beam. Be like, all right, say the alphabet backwards and touch your nose.
Yeah, it becomes a time trial on how fast you can say the alphabet backwards.
When you do the dismount flip, you then have to blow into a breathalyzer.
Brother, if you can do the dismount flip.
Well, it's more of like a flop than a flip, but still.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
I think hurdles would be frickin' hilarious drunk.
I think the race ends at the first set.
You know it.
What's that one where they do the hurdles but they land in the water?
Steeplechase.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Someone's gonna drown. Someone's gonna die in drunk steeplechase.
Although it actually might be nice to get them a little more hydrated, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Like when you splash water on a drunk's face to
Yeah.
wake them up.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, okay,
Yeah.
we're running. We're running here.
Okay, I'm awake. I think cycling would be pretty funny drunk, too.
I see that every day in my neighborhood, actually.
I think drunk cycling, we're guaranteed a gold medal. The representative from Saskatchewan with 4 DUIs is going to lead us to glory.
The Tour de Drunk.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
You ever get anxiety when someone like knocks on the door or rings the doorbell?
Yes, because nobody actually knocks on my
Right.
door unless I know they're coming. They just text me.
Right. Even food delivery drivers, they just drop it off. Maybe they hit the doorbell and go, but even then, you know it's coming. So I'm just sitting on the couch yesterday, kind of still recovering from like being sick earlier in the week when all of a sudden my doorbell goes. I'm like, God, what?
Yeah.
So a guy trying to seal my driveway.
Oh, I haven't seen those guys in a while.
Honestly, I think this is the first one I've had this year, but he's like standing down at the bottom in front of my door and he's just like, hey, how you doing? I'm like, I'm fine. What's up? And he's like, I got the best driveway sealer in the world. You can't get this stuff anywhere. I'm the only guy that's got it. And I want to do your driveway. I want to fix it up. By the time I'm done with it, you won't have to worry about it for 4 to 5 years. And
So did you get your driveway sealed?
Absolutely not. I don't know what it is, but I cannot take door-to-door salespeople seriously.
I feel bad for them because, I mean,
Right.
it is a job. And actually, I mean, it's a classic movie trope thing. That used to be a serious profession, being a door-to-door salesman.
100%. And like, hey, guy was out making money. I saw one of my across-the-street neighbors had their driveway roped off. So, obviously, he made a sale at some point.
That's a tough go, though. Just like going to people's doors and having them close it in your face all the time. I mean, like there's that William H. Macy movie. What is it? Door to Door.
Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's a tough way to make a living.
Well, and especially because, like I said, so there's somebody across the street from me that's got their driveway clearly done. I have to assume that's not a coincidence. But as I was driving to work this morning, that's the only one. That guy went to every house in our neighborhood and looks like he got one driveway.
Well, and nowadays it's like you just assume everyone's a scammer. Even there was like a TELUS girl going through our neighborhood recently, and in like the Kings Court Facebook group, people were asking, they're like, is that a legit TELUS girl?
Dude.
And I get why they didn't think she was legit, because she showed up and, I gotta try and do the accent. One
Be
second.
careful now.
Nah, fam. Like, you know that weird Toronto accent?
Toronto mans?
Yo, I opened the door and this girl goes, yeah, hey, so I'm from TELUS. He just came down from Toronto. And she's like, I was just wondering, like, what do you pay for your cable and internet services, eh? And I was like, well, I work for Rogers. I get a discount.
Yeah,
like,
I'm not
it's fine or whatever.
switching.
And she's like, I bet scene. She's like rubbing her hands together. And she's like, you mind if I ask what you pay, though, fam? And I was like, did you just call me fam?
Fam is amazing.
I was like, I'm okay on that. And she's like, I respects yo. And then like walked away. And I was like, how are you going to make a sale today? Like, how are you going to make a sale?
Right, like I cannot imagine someone coming up to like anybody in my neighborhood and using that accent and making a sale.
Dude, anyone that walks up to you and is rubbing your hands and goes, yeah.
Well, that's the problem, right? Anybody that comes to my door selling stuff, and again, I agree with you. I feel bad for the legitimate ones, but there's just too many scammers out there these days.
Yeah.
I assume it's a scam. If I open the door and someone's standing there rubbing their hands like that one meme of the guy behind the tree,
Yeah.
I don't even think I think I just closed the door.
The only people that should be rubbing their hands together like that is drug dealers. Drug dealers and pimps.
And I don't think either of those go door to door.
I mean, you don't want to see a pimp show up at your house. That's for damn sure.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Ashley, you ever bought anything?
Just cookies. Those Girl Guide cookies get me every time. If you're selling something yummy, chocolate bars, cookies, maybe even festive popcorn, yeah, you're going to get me.
Now, I will say, does it change if it goes from a kid to an adult?
Yes, no, if somebody showed up at my door to sell Girl Guide cookies, I'd kind of be like, no. Where's the kid you got those from?
That's just, I would have some questions as to like, where did you get these?
Girl Guides knows what they're doing, man. They get those cute kids out there. They
Yeah.
sucker you in, right?
Oh. Right? You can't say no. You cannot. You feel like a bad person.
Well, it's the same thing like when I played hockey. Like, we were able to get cans from people. Like,
Yeah.
if my dad had went door to door, they would have been like, get the hell out of here.
Well, even, I don't know, did you guys have to do, like, the jump rope for heart and, like, go door to door collecting donations as a kid?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, I always, like, cleared up in my neighborhood, you know? Like, people are just like, yeah, here, you're a little kid, take some money, you know? And you're like, sweet. But no, now as an adult, they're like, no, get out of here.
I was just imagining grown up showing up at your house, being like, I'm a jump rope. Can I have some money?
My school's doing this fundraiser.
Well, even the idea, imagine if it was a kid that showed up yesterday and was like, hey, do you want your driveway sealed? You might feel a little more like comfortable with them than you would some guy.
Right, yeah, like if dad stays in the truck like a couple houses down and it's just some kid being like, we have the best driveway sealer in the whole world.
I've been inhaling so much.
He's got orphan cough.
Please.
Oh, no.
Please, sir.
Oh, my God. Let me go get my wallet. I'm so sorry for your predicament.
Oh, man. We've got a few people texting in that they have done door-to-door sales, and I just, I can't imagine how tough that is.
Yeah, because it used to be the Ginsu knife salesman, right? That was the big,
Dude, the idea of a guy showing up to your door with knives, and he's like, want to see these?
That's just it. Between 1984 and 2024, there's a 40-year period where if you show up with knives, we're probably about to do a transaction, versus if you show up with knives, I'm calling the police.
I'm curious, because it's always another classic movie trope was the door-to-door salesman. You know, he got lucky a lot.
The door-to-door salesman who pulls?
Yeah. He wasn't making sales, but he was making deposits,
That's
I guess
right.
you could say.
He was leaving with one thing or another, and satisfaction was guaranteed.
It's the classic, there's the salesman, there's the pizza boy, and then the milkman, I guess, is the other one, right?
A lot of people, you kind of look like the milkman in your neighborhood. Plumber's another one that shows up a lot.
Calling someone the milkman's son was actually probably a great chirp back in the day.
100%.
Yeah.
You just look at a guy and be like, oh yeah, milkman's son over here. Don't you talk about my mom like that.
Well, and being a milkman was a respectable job. If you found out that you were the pizza boy's son, I don't know if that feels as good. Finding out you were conceived over a Hawaiian pizza and some cheesy bread.
Just start calling the kid Domino's and see what he says.
Nobody out pizzas the hut.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
What is this?
Listen. As the Olympics are starting today,
Is this the Australian anthem?
I would like to declare myself as an honorary Australian
Oh, really?
for these Olympic Games.
The Australians usually do pretty good in the summer games.
Dude, the Australians are amazing. Did you know they called their Olympic athletes the Olyroos?
Olyroos?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
That's what they call their Olympic athletes. the
Interesting.
Olyroos.
What's wrong with Olympians? Olyroos.
What's wrong with Olyroos?
I guess there's already a word.
Dude, for every event that they have in the Olympics, if they have an Australian in it, they have a name for it.
Really?
Australia's national soccer team is actually known as the Socceroos.
That one I think I actually have heard before.
So sick.
Socceroos.
So sick. Their field hockey team is the Hockeyroos.
Okay, I'm seeing a pattern here.
They call the basketball team the Boomers, which I guess is another slang for kangaroos. They're all based off of animals in Australia. The rowing team is the Rosellas, which I guess is a bird that's out in Australia. The Rosella.
That's a good one. I like that.
I was thinking, how could we maybe steal this for Canada's Olympic teams? You know,
we just call them beavers.
Well, that's the only one I could Sockies for our national soccer team. Does that work?
I'm telling you right now, if you spend your whole life to become, I assume that's for the Canadian soccer team.
Yeah.
You spend your whole life training, playing a sport, getting so good at it that you can represent our country on an international Olympic level, only to be called a sock geese, a sock goose.
I can't think of any other ones that come to mind. I mean, maybe for our boxers, they could be the moose knuckles.
Oh, okay. See, now, you won me back over.
That works,
Now I'm
right?
back on board.
That's the only other one I can think
I'm
of.
on the trolley now.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
I got a pretty awesome follower on my Instagram account last night.
Ooh.
I got followed by the I got a store in my trunk guy.
I don't know who that is.
You don't know who that guy
You seem
is?
very excited about it, so I'm happy for you.
You haven't seen this guy online before?
I don't know who that is.
Here,
no.
take my phone.
Okay.
Okay. Here, watch this. This guy, he's from Atlanta. And look at this.
Derek Lockhart.
I put a store in my trunk. That's how I put a store in my trunk. She got famous Amos Oreo, chocolate chip, peanut butter, nutter butter, oatmeal pie, Skittles, Starburst, trail mix, fruit snack, selling $10 snack packs.
Amazing.
So sick.
I got moon pies and honey buns, canola bars.
Stop throwing your hands up in the air for this.
2, 4, 5, 9, 10 nickel, 50 penny, cash app and cash out. It most definitely on the map.
It's some dude from Atlanta, and he just drives around and he just sells stuff out of his trunk, man.
Honestly, I used to do this. I didn't have a trunk. I used to do this in my locker back in the day. I used to keep like some stuff in there that I would sell to people.
Yeah.
Just a little, nothing this elaborate. And we didn't have Cash App. It was loonies only.
Dude, he's got everything in the back of his trunk, man. I don't know why he followed me, to be honest. But
that was going to be my question. I was like, did you follow him first? Is he maybe doing the same thing we're doing with the Brock and Dalby Instagram of like following back your followers?
I didn't even follow him. Like, he followed me, so I followed him back. But, like, I mean, if I'm ever out in Atlanta, I'm going to hit up the man and get some moon pies. Like,
you know what, though? The thing is like, great production on the video, looks awesome, it's hilarious, it's very catchy. But if someone pulled up to you right now, popped the trunk, and was like, yo, you want to buy some snacks?
Yo, if that guy popped out of the car rapping like that, I'm going to buy some snacks. That guy's a showman, dude. And it's genius. Like, if you go through his Instagram, he just pulls up at, like, bars.
Yeah.
Is what it seems like.
That's smart.
Yeah.
Getting people on their way out.
Yeah, he just
100%.
catches people outside the bar and he sells them, like, chips and stuff. Dude, genius idea.
Absolutely. Love to see the hustle. Love an entrepreneur. And I suppose you're right. There's a difference between someone being like, hey, man, you want to buy some snacks? I got some chips and stuff on me.
I got these cheeseburgers, man. Like, there's a big difference from that and this guy.
He's bringing some confidence. He's got some production values.
Oh, man.
Yeah, you know what? You sold me. If I see this guy, I'll buy some Ritz.
Yeah, I don't know if I ever have a reason to go to Atlanta, but
I hear the food's good.
Yeah.
And not all of it comes in the trunk of a car.
Yeah. If you haven't seen this guy before, text trunk to 762-555. I'll send you the video right now. Dude, that's such a great side hustle, man.
He's so catchy, too.
Oh, one more time. Yeah. One more time.
It's called I put a store in my trunk. That's how I put a store in my trunk. She got famous Oreo, chocolate chip, peanut
if you want to see the video for yourself, text trunk to 762-555. I'm going to make sure like I stay in contact with this guy. This guy's my boy now.
Maybe he'll franchise to you. You could put some shelves in the back of the Chevy Trax.
Dude, I might start setting up outside of dispensaries, start catching stoners. That's the move.
That's the sweet spot.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Gotta give a shout out, even though everybody's talking smack about them. The Canadian women's soccer team did win against New Zealand yesterday.
And there was no controversy whatsoever. Just good, clean Canadian fun. Big win.
It has been announced, though, by Canada Soccer that they have suspended the coach Priestman for the remainder of the Paris games, even though she denies that she has nothing to do with it.
Yeah, they're saying so. I think what I saw is they were saying, like, she's denying it, we believe her, so it's fine. And then now they're saying that there's evidence that the spying may even go all the way back to the 2021 games in Tokyo where they won the gold.
But that's when they had the guy coach, too, right?
She was the assistant coach.
Oh.
And the two of them also used to coach together for the New Zealand national team.
I can't wait for that apology of the press conference. Hey, sorry, guys.
Oh, you know what we did? Just not cool, eh? So we apologize for that, and we'll try not to do her again.
That's my bad, buddy.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Ohio Supreme Court has just ruled that boneless chicken can actually have bones in it.
It's like, by definition, it doesn't make any sense. It's an insane statement to say if you order boneless chicken, you should expect that there might be bones in it. That's like saying that if you buy a non-alcoholic beer, you should be prepared for it to be full of alcohol.
So what happened is, if you missed it, there was a guy, he ordered boneless wings at a restaurant. It turned out there was a little bone in it. He ended up choking on it, got an infection, had to have surgeries. So he sued the restaurant, the chicken supplier, the processors. This case made its whole way to the Ohio Supreme Court, where they decided, and this is a real quote, I'm not making this up, that boneless wings is a cooking style. It is not a guarantee. They say just as a person eating chicken fingers would not have been served fingers.
And that's super dumb. Like, that's just an insane statement. Chicken fingers, no one expects it to be fingers. That's the name of it. To say boneless wings is a very descriptive thing of what you should be expecting. But I get what they're saying when they say, like, oh, it's not a guarantee. No one's asking for it to be a guarantee. But especially in the States, where this man choked on a bone in his boneless wings, suffered injuries, had to pay hospital bills, I don't think it's unreasonable that guy should expect the kitchen that stuffed bones in his boneless wings to have to pay for it.
I 100% agree with what you're saying, but I will say, if this guy had just been a real man and ordered chicken wings...
There's also that.
He would have been fine.
I don't like to blame the victim, but in this case, maybe we all just stop ordering boneless wings.
If you're over the age of 12, order actual chicken wings, okay? Like a real adult.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Olympics are kicking off in Paris today. Have you noticed anything weird about the logo for the Paris Games?
The rings?
No, the actual logo itself. Have you not seen the meme going around? That it looks like Mary J. Blige?
With the bob haircut? Oh, that's tough.
Once you see it, you can't unsee it.
No. Oh, that's damn near spot on, especially because it's supposed to be the Olympic torch. It even has the little, the pauldron that the flames are coming out of. It looks like her lips.
See, I was going to say, I just thought those were legit lips. I couldn't figure out what that was. I've been looking at it all morning, and I was like, what the hell?
This is the problem, is that, a lot of this marketing and stuff like the Olympics, right? Because it's been around for so long. It's being done by kind of like an older generation. You can't put this stuff out there without running it by kids first. Yeah. You got to run it by some teenagers to just before teens.
All I'm going to see is Mary J. Blige for the next month. There's going to be no hateration, no holleration at these Olympics. That's for sure. It's either Mary J. Blige or it just looks like your typical Karen.
Yeah, absolutely. These are the most Karen Olympics of all time.
It's like a bob and a lips. Or kind of like vaguely an emo kid as well. Right?
Little Spider-Man 3 swoop action?
Yeah, the new Warped Tour logo sucks.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Ed's word of the day.
Let's see what he's got.
Good morning. Yeah, today it is lollygag. Yeah, lollygag. Lollygag. And it's someone who is messing around doing something that isn't useful. I just call that lazy. That's about it. Have a great one. Cheers.
You know what's funny is, I think I knew how it was spelled, but that's the first time I've ever heard lollygag actually spelled out before.
Yeah, lollygag's not exactly a spelling bee kind of word. Not a lot of reason to write it out. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah, lollygag is... He says lazy. I almost feel like lollygag is worse. Lollygag feels like when someone is intentionally not doing what they're supposed to do.
My mom used to say it to us when we were kids. Like we were riding our bikes too slow. Or
lollygagging around, hurry it up, speed it up.
Yeah, we were slacking on our chores or something.
Yeah, you could maybe use it if somebody only worked 2 days out of a full work week. You could say they'd been lollygagging. Not that... we know anybody.
I mean, you could even short form it. You could call people lollies or you could call them gaggers.
I think both of those are already taken for other things.
Are they?
Yeah.
Is lollies?
It is. It's not a good thing.
No?
No, it's a bad thing.
Can we not say it here?
It's probably best not to talk about it. No.
Really? Is it that bad?
No, it's a bad thing,
What about gaggers?
Well, I think that's mostly just people who smoke big joints, right? Isn't that?
I've never heard that.
I've heard gagger used to describe some of those big Seth Rogen joints from movies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That one's fine.
Which you might be lollygagging after you do that.
Oh, after that, you're not doing much of anything. No.
Lollygag, lollygag, lollygag. Don't call people half of each word, I guess.
Yeah, it's fine.
All right. The more you know. Learn something every day.
For more Brock and Dalby, tune in weekday mornings 5:30 to 9.
The Brock and Dalby podcast is brought to you by badshop.ca, the Brock and Dalby merch store. With all proceeds going to the Canadian Cancer Society.